My dear brothers and sisters, there is something in every person's life that they wish they could remove. A habit that steals time, a habit that weakens discipline, a habit that creates regret again and again. Many people know what they need to change, yet they feel stuck in the same cycle. They promise themselves that this time will be different, but the same pattern returns. But here is something very important to understand. Bad habits are not stronger than you. They only feel strong because they are repeated. The moment you learn how habits truly work, you begin to take back control of your life. Today, we will explore 4 powerful levels that can help you remove bad habits permanently and build a stronger, more peaceful future. Because real change does not begin with motivation. Real change begins with understanding. 1. Awareness breaks the power of habits. The first level of removing bad habits is awareness. Many people continue harmful habits simply because they do not pause long enough to truly reflect on what those habits are doing to their lives. A person may know something is wrong, but knowing is not always the same as understanding. Sometimes we are aware on the surface, but deep inside we still underestimate the impact of our actions. We convince ourselves that the habit is small, that it is harmless, that we will leave it one day when the time is right. But the truth is that small habits repeated daily slowly shape the direction of our life. Every habit leaves a mark on the heart. Some habits reduce motivation little by little until a person begins to feel lazy without understanding why. Some habits weaken confidence until a person begins to doubt their own ability. Some habits steal time so quietly that months pass, yet nothing meaningful changes. A person begins to feel stuck, not realizing that repeated behaviors have slowly created that feeling of being trapped. Awareness means observing yourself honestly without making excuses. It means noticing patterns in your daily routine. It means recognizing which actions bring peace and which actions bring regret. A person who becomes aware starts to see the connection between actions and consequences. They begin to understand why they feel distracted, why they feel tired mentally, why they feel distant from their goals. A wise person reflects deeply and asks sincere questions. Is this habit improving my character or weakening it? Is this habit helping me become more disciplined or more careless? Is this habit bringing me closer to the person I want to become or further away from that vision? Honest reflection creates clarity, and clarity creates direction. Many people delay change because they constantly justify their behavior. They say the habit helps them relax. They say they deserve comfort. They say change is too difficult right now. But awareness removes these illusions. Awareness shows reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. When a person clearly sees the effect of a habit on their peace, productivity, and spiritual state, the desire to change naturally becomes stronger. Awareness also strengthens self-control because it interrupts automatic behavior. Many habits operate without thinking. A person repeats the same action simply because it has become routine. But when awareness increases, the person begins to pause before repeating the behavior. That pause creates an opportunity to choose differently. Once you truly see the impact of a habit, ignoring it becomes difficult. The mind becomes more conscious and the heart becomes more alert. A person begins to recognize moments when the habit tries to return and they become more prepared to resist it. Awareness does not instantly remove bad habits, but it weakens their influence. It shifts the person from being controlled by behavior to being conscious of behavior. And when consciousness increases, change becomes possible. The journey of improvement always begins with honest awareness, because a person cannot change what they refuse to recognize. 2. Replace, do not just remove. Many people try to remove bad habits by using only willpower. They make a strong decision and tell themselves that from today everything will change. For a short time, they feel motivated, disciplined, and hopeful, but after some days, the same habit slowly begins to return. This happens because the person tried to remove something without replacing it with something better. The human mind does not remain comfortable in emptiness. When a habit is removed, a space is created. If that space is not filled with something beneficial, the mind naturally looks for what is familiar. That is why old habits return even when a person sincerely wants to change. A person who spends long hours on activities that do not benefit them often feels bored when they suddenly stop. They do not know what to do with the extra time. Slowly, they begin to return to the same behavior, not because they truly want to, but because they did not create an alternative. Real change happens when a person replaces harmful habits with meaningful actions. If a person wants to stop wasting time, they should plan how they will use their time more wisely. If a person wants to stop negative thinking, they should replace it with reflection, gratitude, or learning. If a person wants to stop being lazy, they should introduce small daily responsibilities that build discipline gradually. Replacement works because it trains the mind in a positive direction. Instead of fighting the habit constantly, the person begins building a new routine that slowly becomes natural. Over time, the new habit becomes stronger than the old one. It is important to understand that good habits do not need to be difficult or overwhelming. Many people fail because they try to change everything at once. They create strict routines that are too heavy to maintain. When they cannot continue, they feel discouraged and return to old behaviors. Instead, small positive actions repeated consistently create lasting change. Even a small improvement done daily can transform a person's life. A person who reads a few pages every day gains knowledge. A person who spends a few minutes reflecting daily gains clarity. A person who practices discipline in small matters builds strength for bigger challenges. Positive habits also create inner satisfaction. When a person does something beneficial regularly, they begin to feel productive and confident. This feeling reduces the desire to return to behaviors that cause regret. Replacement is powerful because it shifts focus from what you are trying to stop to what you are trying to build. When your attention is focused on improvement, your energy moves towards growth instead of struggle. It is also helpful to make good habits easy to follow. When positive actions are simple, the chances of consistency increase. Discipline does not always require extreme effort. Often, it requires smart planning and steady commitment. When beneficial actions become part of daily life, bad habits slowly lose their attraction. The mind begins to prefer what brings peace, progress, and stability. Removing a habit without replacement creates difficulty, but replacing a habit with something better creates transformation. Focus on building what strengthens you, and what weakens you will slowly disappear. 3. Environment shapes your habits. Many people believe that habits are controlled only by personal willpower, but in reality, environment plays a powerful role in shaping behavior. A person may sincerely want to improve, yet they continue struggling because the surroundings around them constantly pull them back into the same patterns. Environment includes the people you spend time with, the places you frequently visit, the content you consume, and the daily situations you expose yourself to. All these factors quietly influence your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions. Over time, what you repeatedly see and experience begins to feel normal, even if it is not beneficial. When a person spends time with individuals who do not value discipline, growth becomes more difficult. When conversations constantly focus on negativity, complaining, or wasting time, the mind slowly adapts to that energy. Without realizing it, a person begins to think and behave in similar ways. On the other hand, when a person surrounds themselves with people who are focused, respectful, and motivated, improvement becomes easier. Positive influence creates encouragement. It reminds a person of their goals. It strengthens the desire to stay consistent. Environment is not only about people. It also includes what you allow into your mind through daily exposure. What a person watches regularly affects their thinking. What a person listens to influences their emotions. What a person reads shapes their understanding. If a person constantly exposes themselves to distractions, their focus becomes weaker. If a person fills their mind with beneficial knowledge, clarity increases. A wise person protects their environment carefully because they understand that repeated exposure creates habits. When distractions are easily available, avoiding them requires more effort. When negative influences are constant, maintaining discipline becomes more difficult. Sometimes improving habits does not require extreme effort. Sometimes it requires small adjustments in daily surroundings. For example, reducing exposure to things that encourage procrastination can help increase productivity. Spending more time in environments that encourage learning can strengthen focus. Creating a routine that limits unnecessary distractions can improve consistency. When your surroundings support your goals, discipline becomes more natural. When your surroundings oppose your goals, discipline becomes exhausting. This is why choosing the right environment is not a small decision. It is an important step in personal growth. Islam teaches the importance of good company because people influence each other more than they realize. A person naturally adopts the mindset, speech, and actions of those they spend time with. Positive company reminds you of your values, it encourages patience, it supports improvement. It is also important to understand that environment includes digital spaces. The things a person views daily through their devices can either strengthen good habits or weaken them. Continuous exposure to distractions makes focus difficult. Exposure to beneficial reminders increases awareness. When a person becomes careful about what they allow into their life, their thoughts become clearer. When thoughts become clearer, decisions become wiser. When decisions become wiser, habits begin to improve. Protecting your environment does not mean isolating yourself completely. It means becoming selective about what influences your mindset. It means choosing what helps you grow rather than what keeps you stuck. When your environment supports your improvement, progress becomes smoother and more consistent. Small positive influences repeated daily create powerful transformation. Your environment can either make discipline easier or harder. Choosing the right environment is choosing the direction of your future. 4. Patience creates permanent change. Many people want to remove bad habits quickly. They want instant transformation, immediate discipline, and fast results. When they do not see rapid change, they begin to feel discouraged. They start believing that improvement is too difficult or that change is not meant for them. But real transformation does not happen overnight. Lasting change is built slowly, step by step, through patience and consistency. Habits are not formed in one day. They are created through repetition over time. In the same way, removing habits also requires repetition of better choices. A person who understands this reality does not become hopeless when progress feels slow. Instead, they remain committed because they know that every small effort is part of a larger journey. Patience does not mean doing nothing. Patience means continuing to move forward even when results are not immediately visible. It means continuing to try even after setbacks. It means refusing to give up on improvement even when the process feels challenging. A patient person understands that struggle is part of growth. Sometimes a person may leave a bad habit for some time and then return to it again. At that moment, many people feel disappointed in themselves. They begin to think that all their effort was wasted. But one mistake does not erase progress. Improvement is not destroyed by one weakness. What truly matters is whether a person stands up again and continues trying. A person who keeps returning to the path of improvement is already stronger than the person who stops trying completely. Strength is not measured by perfection. Strength is measured by persistence. Patience also allows a person to understand themselves better. Through the process of change, a person begins to notice what triggers certain behaviors. They begin to recognize which situations make habits stronger and which situations make habits weaker. This awareness helps a person make better decisions in the future. When a person becomes patient, they stop expecting perfection from themselves. Instead, they focus on progress. Even small improvement becomes valuable. Even small discipline becomes meaningful. Step by step, the person begins to build confidence because they see that change is possible. Patience protects a person from frustration. Without patience, a person becomes overwhelmed easily. They want immediate results, and when those results do not appear, they lose motivation. But patience creates stability. It allows the heart to remain calm while the process of improvement continues. A patient person does not rush the journey. They understand that deep change requires time. They understand that discipline develops gradually. They understand that consistency builds strength. When a person continues making small positive choices daily, those choices begin to shape their identity. Over time, what once felt difficult begins to feel natural. Actions that once required effort become part of routine. Patience also strengthens sincerity. A person who continues improving even when nobody is watching develops true discipline. They are not changing to impress others. They are changing to improve their own life and their connection with Allah. Allah sees every effort, even when others do not notice. Allah knows the struggle inside the heart. Allah knows the intention behind every attempt to improve. No sincere effort is ever wasted. Even when progress feels slow, something positive is always happening. The mind is becoming stronger. The heart is becoming more aware. The person is becoming more disciplined. Permanent change is not created by sudden motivation. It is created by steady commitment. Motivation may begin the journey, but patience completes the journey. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you move one step forward. Every time you resist a harmful habit, even for a short moment, you build inner strength. Every time you try again after failing, you prove to yourself that change is still possible. With patience, repeated effort, and sincere intention, a person can completely transform their lifestyle. Bad habits lose their control when a person refuses to give up on improvement. The journey may feel slow, but every step is meaningful. Every effort brings you closer to a stronger version of yourself. Patience turns small actions into powerful results, and powerful results create lasting change. My dear brothers and sisters, bad habits do not disappear in a single moment, but every sincere effort weakens their hold over your life. Remember, you are not defined by your past actions, you are defined by your willingness to improve. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your character. Every time you resist what harms you, you move closer to what benefits you. Every time you try again, even after failure, you prove that change is still possible. Real transformation is not about being perfect. It is about refusing to give up on becoming better. Allah does not expect perfection from us, but He loves sincere effort and a heart that continues to return to what is right. Step by step, small improvements create big change. Small discipline creates strong character. Small consistency creates lasting success. Never underestimate the power of one sincere decision to improve your life. May Allah give us the strength to leave what harms us, the patience to remain consistent, and the wisdom to build habits that bring peace, success, and barakah into our lives. If this reminder benefited you, share it with someone who may also be struggling. Because sometimes one reminder can become the reason someone changes their direction forever. Change begins with a single step, and that step can begin today.